Hi there. Today I and my buddy Joe English are sending our regards, and we would like to do some ACT test questions together on the English section. So without further ado, let's share the PowerPoint. And today's passage that we will start with is entitled A Gift from the Heart, a gift from the heart, right? Contrary to advertisements seen on television, comma, read, comma, in magazines, blah, blah, blah. So for the sake of parallelism, so we say seen on television as one block. So we also say read in magazines as one block. So the best answer is J, right? Read in magazines, comma, and so on. So this is what we call parallelism. So the best answer for 46 is J. Moving on to 47, right? Having spent a lot of money on a gift for a friend is totally unnecessary. So what are the choices? No change. I don't think this is the right answer. Having to spend, to have to spend, or spending a lot of money. I think spending a lot of money is the best answer, because if we read from the beginning, contrary to advertisements seen on TV or read somewhere, spending a lot of money on a gift for a friend or loved one is totally unnecessary. We know that the gerund is used, like the ing is used as a noun sometimes, is used, of course it's a noun, but it can be used as a subject of the sentence or as an object of the sentence. So if we say spending a lot of money is unnecessary, is a gerund in place of the subject. So the best answer here is D, 47D. 48, if we read, many people collect photos or mementos from special events. Yeah, that sounds okay. No change. F is the best answer. Remember that no change is repeated in many questions, and if it makes sense, then it is the right answer. So for 48, it is totally, it makes perfect sense, so it is the correct answer. Let's now move on to 49. So the next time you are ready, or you are ready to blot down a plastic credit card for a silk scarf or pair of leather gloves, blah, 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 consider so and so. It makes sense. Next time you are ready, consider so and so. So no change. For 49A, no change is the correct answer. Moving on to 50, it says for a special one whom you care about, consider sorting through the junk drawer filled of trinkets and special photos. So what if we omit the underlined portion? It makes sense, because here he says before that underlined part, for the special someone or someone special to you. So there's no need to repeat whom you care about, because if he or she is special to you, then it follows that you care about that person. And remember, on the ACT and the SAT tests, being short is better if there's no need to repeat that piece of information one more time. So I would go with, for 50, J, omit the underlined portion. If we go to 51, yeah, all right, through that junk drawer filled of trinkets. We usually say filled with something, not filled of something. Remember the phrasal verbs, certain prepositions are used with certain adjectives or certain nouns or certain verbs. And if you change that preposition, it doesn't make any sense. So we usually say filled with. So for 51, we use, the best answer is B, filled with. How about 52? Yeah. If we read, for example, you can decorate an inexpensive picture frame with colorful buttons for your seamstress mother or you can use nuts and bolts for your blah blah blah. So we can say, because here he says you can decorate, and then you can say right away and use or use. You can decorate and then or use. You don't need to repeat or you can one more time. So you can do this or do that. So H, use, is the best answer or the best choice, right? Again, to avoid repetition, we don't want to say you can do this or you can do this or you can do this. Instead of saying that, you say you can do this or this or this. So that you can is applied to all these two or three things that you will talk about. So that's for sake of being simple and for sake of being shorter. So 52H, use, is the best answer. How about for 53, if we read, take original wedding invitation, a candy favor, and a dried flower from the table, a napkin, or anything else that you can gather from the wedding. So, and here doesn't sound needed because he says take original blah blah blah, comma blah blah blah, comma blah blah blah. So we don't need this and here. So for 53D, omit the underlined portion is the best answer, right? Yeah. Let's move on to 54. 54, the best answer is, if we read, or anything else that you can gather from the wedding. Gather from, yeah, there's no need to change it, right? So no change is the best answer. Again, remember that the no change, you're gonna have a lot of no change, good or best answers in your exam. So don't worry if you have more than one answer as a no change, if it makes sense. Here, that's one of the correct answers. F is a no change. Okay, now let's move on to 55. Which of the following sequences of sentences makes this paragraph most logical? So we have to read this. Questions like that, you can leave them to the end because it requires you to read more than one sentence and put them in order and so on. So in that case, to save some time on the test, leave these questions to the end. But let's just have a look now, since we are not on the actual test. Let's see the sentence one. For example, you can decorate an inexpensive picture frame, blah, blah, blah. Then two, shadow boxes are also a wonderful way to display several objects. And then inserting a special photo of you and that certain someone will create a gift? Or do we say, take the original wedding invitation, a candy favor, blah, blah, blah. If we read carefully this paragraph, we will discover that we go with D, like we mentioned sentence one, and then two, and then four, and then three. So sentence four, after two, shadow boxes are also a wonderful way to display several objects from a single special event such as a wedding. Then we say, take the original wedding invitation, right? It makes sense after two, we mention four, and then three. So for question 55, choose D as the best answer. Questions like that, I advise people to leave them at the end because this requires you, as I said, to read and to put things in order and arrange and so on. So this might take a little bit of time. Leave it to the end. Moving on with 56. When you have many photos and mementos, making a photo album or a scrapbook for a friend or family member. Well, would we say that making? It doesn't make sense because this is a complete sentence, and making here is not a verb. We need a verb to make the sentence a complete sentence. So the best choice is G. When you have many photos, make a photo album, right? So in this case, it's a complete sentence. It makes sense. But if we say making and then putting a period at the end, that doesn't make it a sentence. Because remember, if you add an ing to the verb, it becomes a gerund, and a gerund is not a verb. A gerund is treated as a noun, right? Okay. So here the best answer is, as we said, for 56, G. All right, moving on to 57, right? Today, the options for embellishing your book are near to be endless. We don't say are near to be endless, right? So what should we say? What should we say? Are near endless or are nearly to be endless? No. D, are nearly endless. That's what we say. They are nearly endless. So D is the best answer for that. We don't say are near to be endless, but we say are nearly endless. The options are nearly endless. So that's D. Moving on to 58. Yeah, entering a scrapbook store can make your head spin. If some happens to you on your first scrapbooking venture, consider blah, blah, blah. That doesn't make sense. If some happens, this doesn't make sense. When, if, when, also we don't use two linking words like that, or conjunct, what we call not coordinating, subordinating conjunctions. We don't use two subordinating conjunctions together. All right, so what should we say? If this happens to you, yeah, that makes sense. If this happens to you on your blah, 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 consider taking an introductory, and then we end the sentence. So for 15.8, for 58, H is the best answer. If this happens to you. Okay, let's move on to 59. 59. Of course, you will have a much better idea of which scrapbook supplies to buy when the class ends. Well, that makes sense to me. However, when there's a prompt in the question, you gotta read the prompt first, because if you look at question 59, there's a prompt at the beginning of the question. Let's read it first. Given that all of the choices are true, which one would best conclude the paragraph while providing the reader with the most specific and detailed information about why store owners offer introductory courses? So you will have a much better idea of which scrapbook supplies to buy when the class ends. So when you take this class, or when you take this introductory class, you will be better prepared and have a better idea which scrapbook supplies to buy. So still A is the best answer here compared to the other answers. It is the one with more and specific detailed information about why they offer such classes. Okay, moving on to the last question in this passage, 60. At this point, there's a prompt. As we say, you got to read the prompt first. At this point, the writer is considering adding the following sentence. Many people enjoy original gifts. Should the writer make this addition here? Yes, because it reiterates the notion that gift giving is a rewarding experience. No. Yes, because a gift is as good as homemade gift. No. No, because the writer is giving a personal opinion. Or no, because it is redundant information. I think J is the best answer. No, because it is redundant information. It is not needed. It's already known in the passage, so we don't need to say this one more time. Remember, Take it easy. If there's a question you don't know, don't panic on the test. Leave the question till the end. If there is not enough time to answer it, you gotta just make a choice. You can do the process of elimination, eliminate the one or two choices you are sure are wrong, and then you are left with two choices. Just choose one of them. Don't leave any question and unanswered on the ACT exam. And good luck with everybody taking this April trial, and I wish you all the best.